How do you know which brush to buy for your mediums? Let's talk about watercolor first. The absolute best brush for watercolor is a natural sable hair because it holds the most water. They're also the most expensive brushes. Some synthetics will work and they do have a lower price point, but what you're looking for is a brush that will hold a lot of water in the belly of the brush. And if you look at the graphic in the middle here with the two round brushes, you'll see that in the belly of the brush there, above the handle, or above the ferrule I mean, nice and fat, they'll hold a lot of paint. The Winsor Newton Series 7 pack that you see here on the left, Winsor Newton to me is one of the ultimate brush manufacturers. I love their brushes. They should be readily available if you have an art store. If they're not, you can always check online, and we'll talk about that in a minute. When you're using acrylic paints, please, 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 please never use your expensive sable brushes. Any natural hair brush is going to be damaged using acrylic paints. They have ingredients in them that just tends to eat up natural hair brushes. A hog hair, of course, is a little bit different because it's very stiff and it holds up fairly well, but eventually even those will wear down. Synthetic brushes would be your best bet. Even though these will wear down after a while, you can use them for quite a while before that happens. And you will notice that both of these down here are synthetic brushes. The ones on the left have golden colors hairs and the ones on the right have white. Neither of those are natural color brushes. So, well, maybe that fan over there on the left with the green handle is a hog hair bristle, but I'm not sure. So as soon as you see that, you know that they're not natural hair brushes. I took this from the Dick Blick online catalog. I don't have any art stores around here anymore. We closed our store back in 2004. So all I have left are Joann's and Michael's, which are, I'll be kind, they have a very limited supply. So anyway, these brushes are made by Daler Rowney for the artist Robert Simmons. And they say that they're white sable oil acrylic brushes. So by now you should know white sable is not a natural hair brush. It's something that is man-made. And they're white bristles, so you'll know that right away because the sable hair is not white. But what I liked about this is the little gauges or graph, whatever you want to call those. Under the 4.8 stars, you will see there's grades for stiffness, for watercolors, for acrylics, and for oils. I love that. For somebody that's just beginning, you stand in front of that brush display and go, what? I don't know what I need. This is a really nice way to at least narrow down your search. If you don't have an art store in your area, you can always go online. I've used Dick Blick quite a bit. There's other stores, Jerry's Artorama, etc. I will make sure to give you a list of those at the end of the class. Another brush that you can use for acrylics are really inexpensive. I pick up these at the hardware store. They're commonly referred to as a chip brush. And I think that biggest one there on the left is maybe $3 or $4. So they're not the best, but they're inexpensive and they're wonderful when you're trying to apply large areas of paint. And it's very cost effective for those that don't have a lot of money to buy a really, really good one right at the beginning of their artistic career. They can also be used by watercolorists. When I have a beginner class, I let students know that instead of buying an expensive wash brush, they can go and get one of these until they know that they're really going to use it. I would say that if you don't know if you're going to be doing watercolor all the time, then I would say this would work well for your bigger brush. This is one of those things where I will contradict my get the best brush you can afford comment, because these work really well for acrylics. And when they wear down, you don't care. For $2, I'll go and get another one. I painted in oils for years, loved it. And depending on the technique that you're using, both natural hair and synthetic brushes could work. If you're painting things like portraits, you're going to want a sable brush or you're going to want a good synthetic. You would not want to use the hog hair bristles like the ones on the right here because they're good for scrubbing. They're good for applying thick paint. They're good for creating texture on your surface. If you're looking to do some smooth layers of paint or glazing, the sable brushes are really the ticket, or a very good synthetic. You may have seen little bushy-haired Bob Ross on TV. He used to paint a painting in 30 minutes. This is his painting kit, and these are the brushes that he uses. And sometimes artists will have a manufacturer develop brushes for their style. This is what he liked to use. Does this mean this is the only thing you can use to do his painting? No. It just means that this is what he recommends that you use. Again, Bob Ross, Happy Little Trees. Maybe that'll click in your memory. Well, let's start with the painting knife there. The first one, that upside down handle thing next to the fan brush. That's called a painting knife or a palette knife. And if you've seen his videos, you know he uses those sometimes to create wonderful texture. The next two brushes, 1 and 2, is the fan, and it looks like maybe a filbert. Those are both hog hair bristles. The rest of the brushes from 3 to 6, I'm pretty sure are synthetic brushes. The only one I'm not sure about is that big wide one with the white bristles. That may be a natural hair, but I don't know what kind, because this is a fabulous brush for doing final blending. Like you're hardly touching the painting. And it's very, very, very useful when you're looking to smooth out brush strokes and such.